welcome everybody to the Salty Yak Tailing Tips. Today we're going to talk about BTB, going beyond the breakers. So this is my normal setup on my kayak when I'm fishing in the bays, looking for redfish, trout, flounder, whatever else. So let's see what my BTB setup looks like. And this is my BTB setup. Yes, I know I have my shirt on backwards, but I'm doing it for a reason. If you don't leash it, you lose it. Ryan Cash, unpaid endorsement. He doesn't even know I'm doing this, but these are the best leashes that I have found. If you don't want to lose your stuff, whether you're going in the bay or if you're going offshore, put these on. So you'll see what I've got in here. Everything in the kayak is leashed down. Going BTB is simple. Go simple. Don't take a whole lot of stuff. If you turtle out there in the surf, the chances you're going to lose anything that's not tied down to your kayak. So let's walk through the kayak and I'll show you the reasons I do what I do when I go BTB. All right, let's talk about our BTB setup here. First of all, I take a lot less gear than I normally take. So going out, I fold my fish finder in so when I'm paddling that I'm not hitting it. You're going out, your drive has to come out. I don't put it in until I get in past the third sandbar. Seat is strapped down here. I have another, well, this is one of my rod leashes. I strap down the seat here because I don't want to lose my seat. My drive's also strapped in, so I don't want to lose my drive. I even strap in my water bottle. Don't want to lose my water bottle. Everything has to be strapped in, right? Leash on your paddle because you don't want to lose your paddle. And we'll get over here to the rod in just a second. So this is the most important part of going BTB, is your anchor. Okay, so you have an anchor trolley. So anchor trolley, I've got a little bungee with a D-clip. Goes to my float. So when you catch something big, you're going to unclip from here and leave your anchor. And you'll come back, this will be floating. You'll pick it up, pick up your D-clip, and clip it right back on. Oops, didn't even clip it right back on to your anchor trolley. Okay, anchor trolley is important because when you first set up, you're going to run that anchor as if I'm facing the beach. I'm out past the third sandbar, I'm facing the beach, so I'm going to want to run my trolley all the way back to the back so that my anchor's off to the back, my bow's to the front, and that's the way, because that's where the fish are, is over that third sandbar, that second sandbar over there. But then when I catch something, I'm gonna have to reach down and pull it up so I can unclip it. Okay, clip, bungee, float. This is just you see a bottle that I have sealed up. I glued it on the inside, so it's been 4 or 5 times and it's still waterproof. Now, the important part, so this is just for example only. You know, if I think I'm gonna be fishing, you know, if it's 10 or 15 foot of water out there, then I want about 30 to 45 feet of rope, of anchor line. So about triple the distance of the water you're going to be fishing is a kind of a good rule of thumb. So if I'm fishing 10 foot of water, so my anchor rope I think is like 40 or 45 feet. So that's what I use. So important part here, good grapple anchor. When I throw it out, it'll go down, hook onto the sandy bottom. But that's where this comes into play. About 3 foot of chain. So when it lays down there, that chain lays on the bottom of the ocean, the Gulf, and it keeps it down and lets it dig in. Okay, but what happens if you get hung up on something? You get hung up on some underwater structure or something like that, and you've got to get rid of that anchor. So what I have here, I don't tie my rope to my anchor. I zip tie it. Got some pretty good zip ties, enough pulling, and I can defeat those zip ties and get free of the anchor. Usually use 2, and that's been plenty. Never lost an anchor inadvertently. Never lost an anchor. Got on the going off the beach. there's not that much stuff to get hung up out there. If you're fishing the jetties or stuff, then you've got more chance of getting hung up. But a couple zip ties, zip tie your anchor rope to your anchor. You know, if you got to replace it, you got to replace it. But so far, so good. Now, this thing, there's some little slots here, and it folds up for like transportation, which is going to be important here in a minute. Yep. So anchor, 3-foot chain, anchor rope, 30 to 45 feet, a float of some sort that you can come back and see, anchor trolley with a D-clip to unclip from it. So that when you catch that big redfish or you catch that big shark and you go on that Texas sleigh ride, you've got to unhook. You unhook this, let it go off, chase them down, have fun, but then you come back over, pick up your stuff, pick up your anchor line, hook back up, catch another one. So some other things you can see, it's compared to when I go bay fishing, this is very little. First aid kit, gotta have one, take it with me all the time. So this is my rod holder that usually sits right here for my net. So it's unhooked because I carry it out there and then I mount it on the front left to use when I am fishing for reds and sharks. A float on my little, they're not real bogas, they're CCA cheap ones, but they work just perfect for getting things that's got teeth or things I don't necessarily want to get too close to. I don't take my fish grips. I do have pliers over there, but I don't take my fish grips. I use this instead. It's got that, and most importantly, it's got a clip where I can clip it on so I don't lose it. Crazy sharks. So if you're fishing out there BTB, you're going to get a hold of a shark, and you don't necessarily want to get your hands too close to his mouth. So this is, I think this is an 11.5, maybe a 13-inch one, but it grabs the hook, you pull it, it catches it, and you can pop that hook right out. Anything that's got teeth, I would highly recommend getting one of these. Also, it's got a little clip. I'll hook it on there where I hook on my pliers so I don't lose that. Bilge pump sits down on the bottom, like inside there if you needed to. You push it, you can attach a hose to here, or it just shoots the water straight out. You push it down, it'll just shoot the water straight out. If you're going BTB, especially if you're going to go out to one of the short rigs, I would highly recommend having one of these. 20 bucks, Amazon, not a problem. So, walk right here on the other side. Paddle with leash. So this is my rod setup. So luckily, with a pro angler, I've got rod holders. So when I'm going out through the surf, this is how I carry it. Got a little rod thing here, kind of holds it, but I've also got it leashed with one of those Ryan Cash special leashes. This thing will tow a truck. Go YouTube, check it out, it'll tow a truck. Stainless steel hardware, it ain't going anywhere. So won't lose my rod. Here's my pliers. So very basic. Usually I'm only taking one rod, unless it's trout green water, and I think I might, want to. So I've got this. So when I'm fishing, it actually looks like this. One knucklehead. What the heck? Oh. How about that, Carrie? There we go. So when it's fishing, it actually looks like this. Take the rod out. The rod. You notice the leash is still attached. Now I could move this leash further down so it stays out of my way, but the rod is always attached to the leash, because that way if something happens, it gets pulled out of your hands. And here I connect it to one of the connectors in the bottom. It ain't going nowhere. Okay, you can put it around the H-bar or something else, but that's how I do it. So I hadn't even put, this is so brand new, I hadn't even put a line on it, but I am chomping at the bit to get out and give it a try. So I've got all this stuff, not that much actually, but so going out, I'll put my rod back in here. You notice I just got metal eyes on this one. This is a Ugly Stick Tiger Tough. So you just put it back in here. Put your little doohickey straps back on it. It's latched back in. Now I don't keep this right here because when you paddle, I need this space clear paddling in and paddling out. But on my way out, everything goes in here. Look over here. And on my way out, so I don't lose anything, everything goes in here, including my little tackle box that we'll cover gear here in just a second. But so don't want a turtle, don't want to lose anything. Everything goes inside of a compartment, whatever kind of compartment you have on your kayak. Get out there, get settled, open it up, get set up, and then everything goes back in here on the way back in, so I don't lose that too. So, all right, let's talk about the actual lures and setup that I use when I go BTB. All right, let's talk gear setups when we're fishing for redfish, going BTB, that kind of thing. So first of all, start with the lures. Some of my favorite lures to troll going out from the beach out to the short rigs, or if you're just gonna go out there just troll, period. If you go to troll, you'll be looking for kingfish, you're gonna need a wire leader, okay? Gonna need a wire leader because they'll cut you off. All right, but these are some of my favorite. Nice Rapala. I think this is a Lucky Craft pointer. I love the action that you get. This is another Rapala here. You can see I've changed the hooks on this one. A little bit better hooks. Rapala BX Swimmer 12. Love those. Actually, I've caught wahoo on those. So, but these are pre-made little steel leaders you can buy. I make my own sometimes, but bought these because they were just exactly what I needed when I needed them. So, but you can use, so anytime you fish for kingfish or Spanish Max, you need a wire leader, and they make pre-made ones, or you can make your own. But most time when I'm going BTB, I'm going just past the third bar, and I'm going for redfish. Occasionally you catch a shark, but this works just as well for them. So it's just really, really simple, guys. About, 3 foot of 80-pound mono tied to a big circle hook, tied to a nice heavy-duty swivel. I tie that swivel straight to my line. That's it. No weight, no nothing. Throw it out there, let it drift in the current. You'll catch sharks, you'll catch redfish, you'll catch big old gaff top. But that's the rig I use, and that's the rig I've been very successful with. Just a few other lures I trolled in the past I like. Of course, I've always got some spoons with me just in case there's something hitting those. Yeah, I'm a sucker for a Rapala. I think that's a sardine color. Love that one. It's got some nicks on it. Big old rattle trap. Troll those and throw those. A couple other little rattle traps. Some Tony Acetus pet spoon. And I actually found some big ones several years ago. And big enough that you could throw and not just troll. So, really simple. That's all I take. When I'm going BTB, don't need a whole lot, don't want a whole lot. My bait that I'm using, fresh mullet, big chunks of mullet, big enough that a regular gaff top can't get it in his mouth. Big chunks of mullet, big chunks of crab, and that's what I'm using. So thanks for watching the technique tips. I hope our little walkthrough here of our kayak and our setup gives you an idea of how to set yours up for going BTB. It's that time of year. People are kind of already doing it. I'm just waiting for that perfect window, less than 2 foot waves, to get out there and go either just past the third sandbar or maybe out to one of the close rigs. So we'll see what happens. Thanks for tuning in. If you want to hear the audio version of this, it's not the exact same thing. I recorded it probably a couple months ago, but go to the Salty Yak podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, any of those, any platform where you're looking for podcasts, it's out there. So go and listen to that. Go check us out on YouTube, and hope to be seeing you again.